TYT's political reporter Jordan Chariton is on the campaign trail, and he caught up with Jeb Bush. And he had a number of questions for him. Perhaps most importantly, who is his tax plan actually designed to benefit? Let's watch.
The thrill's gone in the age of Obama. All of the excitement of his candidacies have not yielded economic opportunities for young people.
But a lot of your plans are like your brother's, with tax cuts for the wealthy, those kinds of things. How's that going to help?
It's about making regulations work for the disruptors, for the challengers. Right now we have a system that protects the incumbents. Have you noticed that the big corporations are getting bigger in the age of Obama because of all the complexity, and fewer business startups are taking place? So young entrepreneurs,
big corporate profits are going up big time under
the age of Obama.
Right, but that continues with income inequality, and tax cuts lean towards wealthy people.
Create income equality, then you need to create economic opportunity. I'm telling you, the young people increasingly are saying the thrill is gone, and that's why we have. Are you a reporter? Or are you okay? I'm serious. I was curious if you're debating me or asking me a question. That's good.
How dare you, you ruffian, to call me on my BS?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I got.
No, I like that. That's why he's our reporter.
Yeah, and I got no beef with Bush saying that either. I mean,
that's fine.
Okay. That's all right. He's I mean, the answers are the answers.
I mean, it says something about the normal way that questions are presented to him.
I'm curious about the poll Jeb Bush is referring to, where Americans aged 18 to 29 were asked, "Is the thrill gone?" 57% say yes, 22% said no, and 21% are like, "What?
Huh?
What are you asking?"
And then they thought that he was referencing some sort of song from the 80s. Is the thrill gone? The thrill is kind of gone, but unfortunately that's the thrill for his campaign. You can add as many exclamation points as you want. So look, he was asking him there about his tax plan, and I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand what point he was trying to make, but it seems like the points he was making run directly contrary to what he says his objective. I mean, so corporate profits are up. He said, yeah, under Obama. Is the official Republican position that corporate profits shouldn't be up?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first of all, look, I want corporate profits to be up. I just want them to be up for the right reason, because they're making great products and delivering great services and not screwing over people and paying a living wage and not rigging the system in their favor. But still, I want their profits to go up eventually. But he was saying the corporations are getting too big.
He was saying corporations are getting too big because the financial system is getting too complicated. And that therefore corporations are getting bigger because the complications of the financial systems, and I presume the over-regulation, which is a joke, are causing a decline in new business startups.
Yeah.
The kind of new businesses that would excite young people.
And give them the thrill.
I mean, you'd like to be able to have the conversation just pause for a minute so you could hash that out. So let me understand your argument, right? Corporations are too complicated, so they've gotten too big, and young people now can't get into that. They can't get into the thing that excites them. The thrill, let's use your language.
They used to be thrilled in corporate America.
Right, exactly. And now they can't be thrilled because there are no startups. Because why? Regulation? That's a really, I mean, that's
bizarre.
Now,
look, it sounds like we're being critical, and we are, because I think that he's confused about his own position. If he is actually shifting his position massively, and I don't believe that he is, then I would accept what he's saying.
I think he shifted because he thought he heard Young Turks and online, and he thought he should give an answer about young people, and he just started talking, But I mean, in the end, you want to just, give him a break.
Give him a break.
Give him a break. Come on.
I love that apparently Job Makers has lost its cachet. It's lost its thrill.
Job creators, right?
Job creators, yeah. So they've switched to the disruptors, the challengers. That was the terms that he used. That's who we need to be helping out.
That was Jeb Bush?
Yeah, Jeb Bush said we have to help out the disruptors, the challengers. He's not Steve Jobs. But anyway, that's what he said.
But nice job, Jordan.
Oh, yeah. No, I love that he's fearless. He's tenacious. He's going to so many different rallies. We have him. We're going to talk a little bit later. He's been following Donald Trump as well. He
was that in Iowa or New Hampshire? New Hampshire?
I think that was New Hampshire. And yeah, he was just recently in Massachusetts and Vermont as well. So we're going to give you a couple more details what his tax plan actually would do, because there Jordan was implying that it's designed in a way that it will help not the disruptors, but the richest people in the country. So this is based on a Washington Post analysis in the months coming after his plan was announced. The plan would add $1.2 trillion to the deficit, even when using a system favored by Republicans that takes into account any potential growth the tax changes could encourage. So they say it will encourage this growth, and that saves the money. Even using that, it adds $1.2 trillion, according to Republican economists who've reviewed the plan on Bush's behalf. Now, if you don't use their preferential savings that they estimate, it would add $3.4 trillion.
What's amazing is that it's not really in their defense; it's in anyone's defense. Growth matters. I mean, that's $3.4 trillion versus $2.2 trillion that evaporate.
Exactly.
If there isn't the growth.
Yeah, like the money that evaporated after the Bush tax cuts, the last Bush. Now, 3.4 is a lot of money, but still far lower than some of the other Republican candidates' tax plans, including Donald Trump. There's several. I believe it's Donald Trump, I think Carson and Cruz, but you'll want to check those last two, that would cost over $10 trillion.
It's really staggering that I mean, I don't know whether it's us or Democratic candidates or Democrats in Congress or the president, again, or the media failed to drive this point home. I mean, the Republicans run in large part at times on, their deficit hawks, and they complain about look at the deficit, look at the deficit, look at the deficit, right? The deficit that shrinks under Democratic presidents and grows under Republican presidents. So
yeah, but only for decades and decades.
Only for basically the 20th century.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't, I mean, talk about, there's a really interesting piece today in 538 at ESPN about the difference between, don't call Donald Trump's voters uninformed.
I read that, yeah.
Right? They're misinformed. And this
I didn't find much evidence in that piece, but it's an interesting argument.
But they're misinformed is much more dangerous. Uninformed is literally what you think it is. Don't know, right? Don't know.
Potentially open to learning.
Potentially open to learning. Misinformed, you can't give them that information. You can't say to people, no, look, you're right. When you say that we can't keep passing a bill on to our children and grandchildren, agreed, right? Yes. So let's not, right? And so here I've got a plan that'll reduce it, but it's going to require the richest people in the country to pay a little bit more money. Lies! Yeah. No, your thing's not going to work. It won't work. I guess they presume that what goes along with it is massive cuts in government spending, because that would be the only way you'd make up that difference.
A little bit more information about the plan, because I think it's important. And again, it makes a mockery of what he said there, or I guess what he said there makes a mockery of the tax plan. He would seek to condense 7 tax brackets into 3, 10%, 25%, and 28%, and understand that top tax bracket of 28% is significantly lower than the current top tax bracket of 36%. He would slash the corporate tax rate to 20%, cutting it about by 50%. I believe it's from about 35% to 20. Perhaps that's what he meant about it being too complicated these days. 35, a far more complicated number than 20, which everybody knows is simple.
20 has a 0.
It's got a 0, which is basically nothing.
Right.
Yeah. He would also cut a whole bunch of, and the alternate minimum tax, the estate tax, and the so-called marriage penalty tax. Yeah, the estate tax, he's doing that for young people, to help them out tax-wise. And then finally, if we could just bring up this chart here, it's going to show you where the gains go. Yeah, those bars are a lot bigger for top 1% and top 0.1% than for the lowest quintile.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's not intended to help the wealthy. None of their plans are intended to help the wealthy. But anyway, thank you to Jordan for doing that reporting and making him go on the record as a buffoon there, who apparently has to do a bit more thinking about where exactly he stands vis-a-vis.
Leave out the answers, the substance of the answers. It's just not good. He's not good. And, Cruz, Rubio, Trump, all better in that situation. I presume Paul and Christie also just better at answering that question.
Trump is definitely better at giving a substance-free answer.